Before we start this episode of Mill Geekachu, I'd like to make just a quick apology for the length of time it's taken me between my last video and this current video. There have been several reasons for this, to do with both problems I've been having with my health and just real life routines that have been going on that have prevented me from making regular recordings. Hopefully I'm back up and going again now, so we should see a more regular output. Again, I apologise for this. Now, while I'm very fond of my tiny KATO pocket line shunter unit, I have one minor niggle with it, and that is that it's a model of an electric engine unit. Right from the inception of my Engage adventure, I had the notion that I'd like my railway to be a diesel operation. So cute looks aside, my pocket line loco eventually had to either be modified or replaced. But, and there's always a but with me, the unit's mechanism is such a sweet runner. Plus, I did really want to have a small shunting loco to run my local freight traffic. And so, the solution to this problem was to keep the excellent running gear, but remove and replace the loco's body. Luckily for me, this is a rather popular option, and indeed KATO facilitates this kind of project as it makes several of its pocket line powered chassis available as separate units. It turns out that customising hull designs to go on these kind of chassis is a common undertaking. So I had a source for my chassis. I could reutilise my own pocket line's lower unit, or I could buy a completely new one. But I then had the issue of what to put onto this engine as a body. As I said, I kinda like the idea of having a little diesel shunter, and looking around the internet, it didn't take me long to find plenty of inspiration for Japanese unit of this type on Google. But, and I told you there'd be buts, would I then have to scratch build or design a 3D printable design of my own, or were there some kits already available on the market for me to build? I came across a couple of nice little products by Budget Model Railways which suited my needs. They print their own series of N-gauge rolling stock and a few nice loco body designs to fit the KATO 11-109 power units. Problem solved. At this point though, I had second thoughts about disassembling my working KATO shunter and decided instead to order a second replacement power chassis specifically for this project. My thinking is that if all goes well, I could then disassemble my KATO shunter later and maybe try scratch building my own loco body. Let's take a look at the KATO 11-109 power unit's chassis. I should just note that there are several different sizes of KATO power unit chassis available, allowing you to replace faulty units in the existing KATO loco line, or for you to build your own locos in different sizes and formats. The 11-109 unit is 54mm long and is similar to a few other units in the range, only differing in minor equipment details. These are intended for smaller N-gauge locos or trams, or, interestingly, for HO scale narrow gauge railway engines. These are referred to in the UK as 009 gauge, I think. It's a cute little unit, and in fact I've sometimes seen it referred to as a chibi chassis in some of the promotional material, indicating it can also be used as a basis for novelty toy locomotives such as a Christmas decoration train, for example. Chibi, by the way, is simply a Japanese term for a smaller caricature version of a full-sized object or figure. It's normally used in the realm of anime to denote cute little versions of full-sized characters. That said, they are obviously very useful for powering private line and small utilitarian shunting locos, and they have lots of potential applications. Really, it's down to your imagination of how you can customise these. The chief attraction of these little KATO chassis though is that they are renowned for their incredibly smooth running and reliability. This is why these KATO pocket line locos make for such great value beginners engines. I mentioned that initially I fancied having a stab at either scratch building or 3D printing my own shunter body design. But with no experience of making model locomotives, I soon backed away from this idea. Instead, I turned to a product I saw when I was trawling the internet looking for some reference regarding small diesel shunter designs. It turns out that there are a few cottage 3D printing companies and individuals who produce custom models specifically for KATO's power unit chassis. Budget Model Railways UK is one such printer of N-gauge scale, hull and body models that you can attach to the 11-109 chassis. They have a few different designs, a couple of diesel bodies and a couple of nice Bobo format loco railcar bodies. These look really interesting and I'll come back to them in the future perhaps. I chose though their N-gauge diesel body kit. This kind of solved two issues I had. First being that it gave me something pre-made that could be assembled easily, and secondly it gave me a chance to examine the design of an established 3D printed loco body. This would be useful in the future as I could use it as a template for a 3D printed design of my own perhaps. The print itself is made using an FDM 3D printer, and while okay there are some obvious layer lines, particularly where there are curved surfaces. This kind of reinforces my opinion that at this scale, N-gauge, 1/148th to 1/60th scale, resin 3D printers are the best choice if you want fine resolution prints. That said, it's an okay print, and I knew that I could fettle the layer lines and smooth them out with a bit of restorative modelling using filler and sanding. So really it's not a big deal and it's a nice little start for me. A nice surprise package from my brother arrived containing two very nice Tomix Japanese JNR CHI Flatcar wagons. I mentioned before that I'm hopeless at eBay auctions, so Ian has taken pity on me and nabs any good stuff that he thinks will be of interest to me. These two log carrying wagons are something a little different and will add a bit of variety to my collection of pretty anonymous looking boxcars. Both carry a full load of logs, quite big logs actually, and they really do make a nice change from the normal containerised freight transport. It also fits nicely into my plan for a more rural theme for my layout. Curiously, these two wagons are not identical, being of slightly different lengths. The Tomix model 2704 has a flatbed of 47mm length, and the 2752 model is 58mm long. Quite why they are different lengths I don't know, as I haven't managed to find any real world reference about these wagons on the internet, but the difference does make for a pleasantly quirky visual combination. My only real issue with these wagons is the quality of the logs which are modelled and the retaining cables. They are basically a few bits of sewn off dowel and a couple of strands of brass wire. Hardly exceptional realism. The shorter 2704 makes a bit more of an effort, but at the very least I feel obliged to remodel a proper set of retention cables. This acquisition has given me the idea of maybe including a timber mill on the layout. With these log bearing wagons bringing the raw materials to the mill, I could then use my Tora flat car wagons as a means of transporting the resultant planks from the mill. Just an idea, but I quite like it. Anyway, that's this month's mail call, and it sets me up with a couple of nice little projects to keep me busy over the Christmas season. Thank you so much for watching, and you would do me a real solid if you didn't mind liking and subscribing, as I would feel as if I didn't have to put up with my daughters telling me that I don't have any real friends then. Cheers guys.